Well, happening now, firefighters are getting ready to go back to work against a number of fires here in New Mexico.
Yeah, these fires just will not calm down. One of them is still dangerously close to homes down in the Gila. News 13's David Romero is tracking all of these fires for us. He is live in downtown Albuquerque with more. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Matt. Well, with all the fires burning in our state, some good news for metro area residents. We shouldn't see any of that smoke come into the metro area anytime today. Now, the latest update that we have from fire officials as pertaining to the White Peak fire, this is burning near Cimarron. It's at 15% containment. Now, so far, it's burned about 1,200 acres. It's relatively small in size compared to the others, but nevertheless dangerous. Then down in the Gila of southern New Mexico, crews fighting the Silver Fire had to deal with lower humidity conditions and winds, which made fighting the fire a tough day yesterday. This one has burned about 22,000 acres and is still only about 5% contained. Now the town of Kingston, is still under evacuation at this point. Finally, the Jaroso Fire in the Pecos Wilderness has burned more than 3,500 acres with no containment. Crews have been limited to fighting this one because of the rugged terrain. Now, just yesterday, a new blaze popped up. This one was about 25 miles northeast of Grants. It was called the Cebolleta Fire. It was caused by 2 lightning strikes. Now, luckily, this one only charred about 10 acres, and this morning is reported to be 100% contained. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, David. That's at least a little bit of good news for one of the many fires out there.
Yeah, meteorologist Kristen Van Dyke is keeping a close eye on the weather conditions. What about the winds? I mean, are they helping or not for these fires?
Well, you know, right now it's not about how strong, so much how strong the winds are. It's about the wind direction. And today we're not going to see super strong winds. It will get a little breezy across northeast and southwestern New Mexico. Southwest New Mexico eventually is going to be looking at westerly winds at about 10 to 20. We could see a few higher gusts than that. So nothing really strong, but the westerly wind is blowing in a lot of dry air. When we get the easterly winds, that actually helps things out a bit. It brings in more moisture, but with the dry air moving on in, there will still be enough moisture to produce that potentially produce a thunderstorm, I should say, and that would mean more of a dry storm than anything else. That can mean gusty winds, more lightning strikes, so that would be bad news for the Gila, and we're going to have to watch for that across central New Mexico as well, up in the Jemez Mountains as well, more of a dry thunderstorm type of day today. But up in the northeast, winds are going to become more northeasterly there. Winds will pick up, and that's going to bring in more moisture. You can see where all the moisture is out across eastern New Mexico, and the farther west you get, the drier it gets. That can mean some wetting rains in the northeast, perhaps with the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, but we're going to have to keep a close eye on very dusty, windy conditions over in the Gila and perhaps even up in the Jemez. I'll have more details on this coming up in just a bit.
Well, there is a water line break in northwest Albuquerque you need to know about. These are some photos that were sent to us by a viewer. This is on the bike path near Angel Peak Road and Borrego Creek Drive. No word yet if the break is causing any water problems to nearby homes. Well, one of the wildfires in New Mexico is having a big effect on one of the most popular Boy Scout camps in the country.
Yeah, now it's making these scouts change the plans they made up to 2 years ago. The Whites Peak fires forced the southern third of the Philmont Scout Ranch to close. It's up in the Pecos. That is a big deal because by the end of this week, more than 5,000 scouts will be at the ranch. Many of them were set to hike the south end up there, but now that's changing because the fire is just a mile from that area.
So they're still having all the hiking and program opportunities they had before. The property is quite large, and so we have the advantage of being able to move people around like that.
Now, on the flip side of this is giving scouts a chance to learn about wildfires as they're going to the briefings with firefighters every morning. Some overnight news now. 13 families in Albuquerque are out of their homes this morning because of an apartment fire late last night. This happened about 10:30 at the Sun Plaza Apartments on Montgomery and Jefferson. Firefighters say folks there smelled smoke and they found a fire in the attic. They got it out, but not before it damaged 4 apartments and forced families out of the others because the gas and power had to be turned off. Elizabeth?
An Albuquerque mom is behind bars this morning after police say she provided drugs for her kids. Leticia Hernandez was in court yesterday for contributing to the delinquency of a minor and child abuse. According to the criminal complaint, Hernandez was smoking marijuana and spice with her niece and her niece's boyfriend while her 4 kids were home. Officials say Hernandez's niece got ill from the combo, throwing up, even passing out. It was one of Hernandez's kids who called 911. When cops arrived, they arrested Hernandez. Her niece was taken to the hospital. No word on her condition. Well, there's a bit of relief for drivers this morning. AAA is reporting the national average for a gallon of regular unleaded gas has dropped to $3.62 a gallon. That's a slight decrease in the past week. Drivers in Hawaii are paying the most for fuel at $4.35 a gallon. The least is over in South Carolina at $3.25 a gallon. And here is a look at the average gas prices in New Mexico. According to AAA, the average is $3.49 a gallon. In Santa Fe, it's actually a little bit down to $3.47, and here in the Duke City, it is even lower at $3.41.
It all seems pretty high to me.
I know. I think our days of $2 gas are long gone.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, very soon the whole country will get a chance to see the story of New Mexico's legendary boxer, Johnny Tapia, on the big screen.
Yeah, producers are now shopping it around for a big distribution deal. The biography here is called Tapia, had its world premiere at the Los Angeles Film Fest Saturday night. It is all about Johnny Tapia, his 5 world championships in boxing, plus his struggles and who the man was outside the ring.
Showing them that he, the kind of person he really was. People got the wrong impression that, that he was drugs, this and that. But, I mean, he was a down-to-earth person, alcohol.
A rapper, 50 Cent, is now backing the film. That could help it get a deal, so it could be seen all around the country. Either way, Tapia's producers say they plan to show it in Albuquerque, but they don't know exactly when. And it's directed by Eddie Alcazar, a young man who graduated from La Cueva High School.
That is great.
So there's a very, very big local
like
tie
that.
to this. The reviews, I looked online, they aren't out yet, but it was sold out at the LA Film Fest on Saturday night.
I mean, his story itself, though, is just quite astonishing. It's amazing. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a great film either way.
All right, 5